And again, this is not just made of any group of. This is like they have some background, more exposure. They're just going to play more better. So yes.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. It's always great to get women involved in the game, and especially where there hasn't been historically a lot. Wow, what a pickup.
Wow,
and that's
nice
going to go for
shot.
4.
Yes.
Through
Especially with
square
umpire
leg.
signals. Oh, 4 runs.
4 runs. Yeah, as you were saying, like the more cricket grows, the more facilities there are, the more popular it becomes, the more visibility you get. And that's really what you need, that grassroots growth of people coming out, getting used to seeing games, learning how to enjoy the game like we all did, learning all the intricacies and being able to just participate and enjoy cricket.
I like the way you just said grassroots cricket, because if cricket has to grow, it starts at the grassroots level. Be it youth, girls, women. That's how cricket is going to grow. It's just not meant for senior men. It's for all, and you need to have casual, fun cricket as well, which is out there too. Cricket is for everyone. Long story short.
Absolutely. And like everyone will remember, their heydays of just hanging out at the field with friends, having a good time. Or your gully cricket games. Oh,
top edge.
Pulls out the bouncer, and will they cut it off? Yes, cut off. You've got to feel that the bowler's got to feel hard done by, because that was a great ball, deceived the batter. But as a bowler, sometimes those are the hardest balls to deal with, when you've done your job, you've got it right, and then it just doesn't go your way.
There's another opportunity over here, and Tapir
juggles it, but here comes the catch.
And that is Tarun Patel, who was a danger man, who was dismissed. This is what I was just talking about. 4 quick wickets of DCC, and you're exposing their soft middle order. And UNBSJ, if they can make a comeback in this game. They're not out of it yet. This is the beauty of this game. T20 looks like a fast food version of the game. But there is strategy, there is momentum, all these things that need to be considered.
I'm sure as most cricket fans are aware, and maybe new people aren't, but T20 is the latest format of the game, the shortest one, which is really, for all its faults, has really improved participation in the sport. It made it more accessible, it made it much more exciting and fun to watch. Not like we don't want to say that Test cricket isn't exciting, but it definitely takes a bit more of a cricket mind to enjoy Test cricket, whereas T20 might be a bit more accessible for the average previous non-cricket fan. Just a bit more excitement, a bit flashier, a bit more lights, entertainment.
I concur with you. The Test match is for the fans who are very fanatic about the sport, and it's a test of skill, endurance, physical strength. So it's a altogether different passion for that level. But T20, you're so right. It's accessible for anyone and everyone. We want to play the sport at more than a fun, at a competitive level. You can do it with T20, and it takes care very good. I just want to, before I forget, talk about a striker, Shashank Naidu. He hit an unbeaten century versus KVCC in the previous weekend. So he's coming strong off a good score. And there was a strong appeal against him, but I think there must be an inside edge to the ball. That's why he's safe.
I happened to be there last weekend, and I watched him hit his 133 not out in person. Great performance.
141 for 5 in 13 overs. 13.
So 7 overs left in the game here.
And right now we have coming back to the innings that you would have witnessed in person. What do you have to say about it? How was it? Was it built and then he went strong, or was he? How was it?
It was. I think it was definitely the classical cricketer's innings. He was playing very smart cricket, taking all the runs on offer and just putting the bad balls away. Definitely an inspired performance, and it's as we were talking before, why is Test match cricket such a challenge? Well, we mentioned that in T20 you've got 120 balls and each ball is a new event. You have to concentrate. Well, that's what makes Test match so exciting, is you have every single ball is an opportunity where you could get out, and you have to keep that concentration for the whole time. There you go, some smart cricketing here by DCC. Bowlers are putting some more pressure on, so they're just taking all the easy strike rotation options. Maybe just get the pressure off yourself, put it back on the bowling team, make sure that the bowler has to bowl to a new batter every ball, and then see if they can get themselves back in this game and capitalize on this great start that they've had. Conversely, the bowlers will be looking to negate that, force them to play some shots, force them to make a decision. Oof, lucky there. Will this make it all the way for 4? No, they're those spongy outfields we've been talking about. Stops just short of the boundary, and they run through for 2. Back and forth, fielders are deciding, are they making any changes? So they have the maximum number outside of the circle. Full toss, gets hit over square leg, backward of square leg, and that will go for 4. So the field that they have here is they've got cow, long off, long on. They've got someone through the covers, deep covers, and someone deep backward of point. So, what are the bowlers looking at here? We've got third in, backward, square leg. Oof, that was a nice bouncer, just keeping the batter honest, keeping them back in their crease, but also, more importantly, netting them a dot ball, which at this stage of the game is worth a lot to the bowling team. Next ball. Another Yorker, but it just sneaks past the short fielder, and they'll just get a single off that. Interesting fielding position. Normally you don't see a fielder that close to the bowler, but I think they must be trying to bowl pretty straight and make sure that all those balls that get dug out don't get singles.
That's the opportunity.
And it will be just wide of the fielder deep in the covers there. That's the end of the over. We are at 149. So you have to feel that DCC really has a good chance if they can stay nice and calm and keep composed, that they can really put a big total up here that would put them firmly in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and this is a good launching squad score, 149 for 5. DCC has to just play sensibly and ensure that their score crosses 190. That's when you're going to put pressure on UNBSJ, because UNBSJ would still fancy a chance anything below 190.
So they have 36 balls here to get themselves at least another 40 runs.
Yes.
So can they do it? Can UNB St. John fight back? What will be the outcome here? Keep her up again. And that is a full toss that they cannot afford at this stage. That gets dispatched right over Long On. Long On can do nothing as he just watches the ball sail over his head.
And Kunal made it count. He didn't let it go. This is again a good trade, a hallmark of a good batsman. When he sees an opportunity, he makes it count and not miscue on it. So very good batting by Kunal Shah.
This ball a little easier to retrieve.
Yes.
Much better response from the bowler there. Much better length. And as we've mentioned so many times today, the length is really crucial. Do not allow the batters to get underneath it. And another little misfield. And to the fielder's credit, anyone that hasn't played on a surface like this, it is very uneven. So you can get caught by unpredictable bounces. So not to heap too much criticism onto the fielders. It can be a tough gig fielding on these fields.
There's an opportunity.
It's up in the air, but ultimately just clears the fielder. And they will only get a single. Unlucky for UNB St. John. You got to feel that they've had a couple of edges here that just haven't quite made it to a fielder. But it's always a good sign as a bowler if you're getting those edges. Then it's up to the captain to make sure of the rest.
Yes.
I think both the batter and the bowler were surprised by that one. Batter's eyes must have lit up, and then just a little bit of the toe end.
And this is, I think, this was the full toss that you were talking about earlier, where the full toss dips on you. It's not traveling at you at a consistent pace.
Exactly. An audible gasp from the bowler. Oh. And a maximum just forward of deep square leg. And here you got to feel that that's quite a big range in length, a full toss to a really short ball. And so, again, that length coming into play, if you're struggling to control that as a bowler, it's going to be a tough day at the office.
Oh, yes.
So, after 15 overs, DCC are sitting at 165. Definitely creeping up much closer toward that magical 190. It is kind of noticeable that the air has cooled down a bit. We've got a bit more cloud cover, so this might work out in DCC's favor.
Possibly.
Should be extracting a little bit more movement.
Oh, sorry.
And just runs it off the blade between third and point, but just a single. Bowler running in from the top of the mark. Doesn't quite get all of that, and again, DCC will feel like they got away with one there. Bit of a toe, but luckily the fielder's all the way out on the boundary.
This is good credit to Yash Patel, the bowler. It's his last over. He's creating opportunities. He's not giving the easy lengths for DCC batsmen to go take off. And see, there's another dot ball he's adding. Very effective and smart bowler.
Absolutely. Great bowling from him so far, being very economical in a game that's looking to be high scoring. And they always say, like, you want this rate or that rate, but really it's relative to the game. You want to make sure that you as a bowler are doing less than the average to make sure that you're keeping your team in the game. It's so very often we've seen, games where the first team bats and you think, wow, what a terrible performance. And then the next team bats and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, the wicket might be the big equalizer. So as a bowler, you're always just looking to make sure that you're staying under that average economy rate and really helping your team out.
That's a very good observation you make. You cannot make a judgment on the pitch until both the teams have batted on it. when both teams are batted, then you can make a call what the pitch is. And you're right. Um, you can't just say label a team's first bowling innings as an average, but you have to see what the other team does as well. But a very good comeback by Yash Patel. He's bowled very superbly.
Fantastic.
Yes, good bowling.
So with his spell finished for 1 wicket, economy of slightly over 8, which in this game you've got to think is got to be great. You know, we're almost at, we're already over 160 with 4 overs left to go. So fantastic. Captain will be very happy with his bowling. Hopefully he'll be asking some more of his bowlers to replicate that form. Have some tactical advice and liquids, some fluids on the field for the batters. What do you think the message that they're being sent is right now?
I think understanding Afzal as a captain, he would want to get the maximum, but at the same time he's also smart, meaning he wouldn't want to, in the quest of getting those quick runs, get lose wickets and get complete before the end of 20 overs. He would have told them bat the full 20 overs, but make double, make more runs as much as you can, because now the moment DCC crosses 190, they're stepping into territory where they're almost solidifying their grip on this match. And right now, this partnership has made 30 runs out 20 balls.
And that is not something you can afford at this stage of the game. UNB St. John will be looking to bring that back. So Vishal,
This is third over.
So Vishal in his 3rd over, currently 2 wickets. Whoa!
That was the inside edge.
Just dragged past the stumps. And as a batter, you feel like you got away with one in a situation like that. Yeah. Always a nervous little look back to see where that ball went.
And this is where the UNBSJ bowlers, especially in the last 8 overs, have to be commended. They have changed the pace of the ball, changed the length, effective length, such a way where they don't allow the DCC batsmen to take off. Because the launching pad that DCC batsmen have created, they should have had a few more runs than what they have right now. Good, commendable effort by UNBSJ. But still, there are 4 overs, 24 legal deliveries to be completed.
Absolutely, we've seen some great fight back from the bowlers.
Sometimes it's just not the wickets, but it's also the slowing down of runs. That's how you come back in the game.
Absolutely, dot balls and singles are bowlers' biggest asset in the short format.
Absolutely.
Another edge, which they'll fortunately get away with. It won't make it to the boundary, and it's being hauled in, and they'll complete an easy 2. Again, those can be frustrating as a fielder too, when you feel like you've had a couple fly around you. You want to contribute, you want to make a grab for your team, and it's all just out of reach. And that one won't be stopped. Great shot through mid-wicket there for a maximum.
Yeah, going back to your previous comment that when those edges go close to the fielders and they would like to have made an impact, but again, at the same as I told earlier, there could be a little bit of fatigue set into the fielders. They're approaching the last 3 overs, almost as 40 overs for them in less than 6 hours, and can't be hard on them, but at the same time, at this level of cricket,
oh, a misfield, that will upset the captain. That's not something you want to see at this stage, and maybe that is that fatigue you were talking about. You know, the mind just isn't quite as sharp, and I feel like one of the things that a lot of people underestimate in cricket is just the fitness that goes into it. You know, like average cricketers cover kilometers during the game, the fielders. Oh, what a shot.
Gone.
Great shot through mid-wicket. Gets the maximum again. So just a few stats is that they looked up on average. Cricketing fielders, cricket players do between 4 and 6.5 kilometers during a game. Of course, the highest kilometers goes to fast bowlers, you know, the real hard-working people of the cricket world. Spinners maybe less so, and you know, the batters that hide out at slip probably the lowest. But yeah, cricket is so much more involved, and you require so much more fitness than I think most people even realize. And you know, like the fitness really can take its toll, like you mentioned. You know, like you're just that little bit slower, fraction of a second slower, fraction of a second bit later to pay attention, and in the end that can make a big difference, where you end up giving up a few more extras from misfields and overthrows. So fitness absolutely just helps keep your mind sharper too. So will that come into play here? Fatigue setting in. And now we're, as we mentioned, we are at that almost at that 190 mark. So you assume from here, with 5 wickets in hand, they'd start accelerating. So the bowlers are going to have to really show us what they're made of here. And that one clears the fielder, but doesn't carry. So boundary rider will run in and pick it off as the batters make an easy single.
I think this is where UNBSJ bowlers could be helpful to their team by taking pace of the ball, by making the batsman reach for the ball, because as much as UNBSJ has been on the field, DCC also has more or less has been on that field as well. So these two batsmen would want to strike the ball as easy as they can.
Catch opportunity.
Oh,
and what a grab. Fantastic effort.
Good catch. It's a good catch.
They will need to confirm it, but from our perspective,
the umpire has to stay. So the umpire wants to confirm, and that's a good judgment by the umpire. He wants to be fair to both the batsman and the fielder.
It definitely looked good from our perspective, and they
correctly given the batsman out.
And that's maybe one of those things where, you know, that we have to struggle with a bit more, is not having a rope boundary. So it is a bit harder to judge when, you know, you're going off flags, but absolutely having a rope makes the umpire's job a bit easier. But in this case, I think we got the correct call. So, another wicket down.
Then you're ruining the integrity of the game or the fielders. We're establishing culture of integrity. So we have to go by the field call.
So, confirm then, the wicket stands.
Yes.
And Rohit picks up a wicket.
And that was taken catch by Purvesh.
Fantastic work by Purvesh on the boundary there. Had a little bit of a juggle to make sure he didn't overstep.
Next is who?
Shrikant Developalli.
That's the kind of bowling we were talking about. Taking the pace off, hitting a really good length, giving the batter, putting some doubt in the batter's mind. And fantastic bowling again. Oh, unfortunate misfield again.
Oh boy, that's just
2 misfields. As a bowler, those are the ones that hurt, because you did your job, got the ball back, and you have to feel that UNB St. John, if they go on to lose this game, they will feel like the amount of misfields will probably have just come back. And
this is where teams should have to focus on the basics. Have a backup. Have someone to cover either the wicketkeeper or the bowler at the bowler's end. So in that way, if the ball misfields, it doesn't cost another run. Sometimes
Exactly.
avoiding those 1 run or 2 runs difference.
Some great awareness there by the wicketkeeper, which we were just talking about, to notice that even though he had an opportunity, there was no one backing up. And that's the kind of smarts and whereabouts you need. Oh. Ball comes off an edge, but it runs for 4. And the batting team will be happy. The bowler, as all bowlers, very upset. 4, Rohit, 4 completed. Finishes 3 overs. Will feel a little hard done by the last few runs. Two overs left in the innings. Just 3 short of the 200 mark with 4 wickets in hand.
Wow, 197 in 18 overs. This is a DCC's game at this point.
And that will absolutely help their cause as the first ball of the over goes for a maximum. The parking lot is definitely seeing a lot of action.
I think it seems like Shashank is carrying his form from previous week, and there are some players who just strike the purple patch just in time, and he seems to be one of those caliber. But I also do want to reach out for UNBSJ bowlers. They have done a good work. The amount of runs that are gone is not a clear indicator of the hard lengths that they have bowled, but you need to fielders to back you up as well.
That's correct. We'll get some buys there. That was definitely some great running by DCC. That's that attitude, that wherewithal to notice what's going on and push really hard. That's why they have the score that they currently have.
Yeah, and that's what that's what DCC understands. Take those singles, take those doubles. 6 and 4s will come, but don't give a wicket away.
Oh, unfortunate edge there, but doesn't carry. But they should comfortably complete the 2. And maybe the left-right combo just troubling the bowlers a bit more.
Yes, just to add to their woes.
Great shot, but it should only be a single to long off. Unfortunately, the throw is just wide, so keeper can't make it to the stumps in time.
And there is sufficient sunlight at this time over here.
Sun just poking through. A little bit of cloud cover. Overall, fantastic day for cricket. Bowling into a slight headwind. Goes over the edge.
Shashank is very quick to take the double, and I think he'll take the 3rd as well. He does. Very easy.
Very easy 3rd. Great running. Oh, definitely felt that one. Sucking in a few extra gulps of air. And DCC, you'd have to say that they're firmly in the driving seat of this game.
At this point in time, yes. So that's why in the next 7 balls, they need to get maximum amount of runs. Very good placement. Very good placement by the Shashank.
And will it make it? No, just not. Will they make 2? Comfortable 2.
There's a good chance. Purvesh on the boundary line he's got a very good arm. Has been consistently getting the ball flatly at the wicket keepers, and very good arm. Got good ground fielding.
Well, we've seen that a couple of times with batters maybe just getting a little lazy in the last meter or 2 and then getting run out, You can never really take a rest or take your concentration off the game, because if you're run out by 10 meters or run out by 10 centimeters or 10 millimeters, it's still out.
Yes. That's where it goes back to basics. You need to ground your bat. You need to ensure that you make your crease. And I think at the beginning of the commentary you had mentioned about the international where the batter Dean Cross was run out at the non-striker's end. It's all being about alert in the game, making sure you don't make those small mistakes, which in the aggregate hurts your team for a good score and a competitive score.
And I think that's where a lot of, like I was mentioned before, just experience comes in, like if you're inexperienced, you were thinking about, oh, I've got to do the next thing, so you never complete your actions, your tasks. But that experience just lets you keep that calm head, know that you got to do things one step at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself. Just do the basic things right. And it's such an underrated skill to just do the basics right. I'm going to think that they're safe there, but this is more of what UNB St. John would have wanted. Accurate, putting the pressure on the batters, not letting them have easy singles. If you start the game out that way, you put some more doubt in the batter's mind. They think twice before trying to scamper through for those 50-50 calls. And you'd think that this is exactly what they want, but maybe too little too late.
Yeah, and I think this is where sometimes it is all tactical also. You're at the last over of the innings. You already know what your score is, or more or less what your score could be. So now your fielders, your batters are rather focusing. How do we approach our innings? How do you build our innings? And so it's going through the motions at this time.
You'd have to think if they score over 220 here, that means that UNB St. John is starting out with the required run rate of 11, and that has got to put a lot of pressure on you as a batter, knowing that not only do I need to get a boundary and a few singles, you need at least 2 boundaries every over. So will UNB St. John be up to the task? And let's hope that they'll be hoping that their bowlers don't concede too many in the last few balls.
And that's gone.
And that is a 6 through mid-wicket. The line bowler misses the line, and Rohit gets 6 more added to his total for today.
I would say at this time of the league, for the summer league, 220 is one of the highest scores that's scored.
Well,
it seems like they're going to keep on adding on to it.
Well, we had talked about things earlier, like maintaining composure, communicating properly. There was a run-out opportunity, but the fielder went to the wrong end. And you can think that maybe that's down to the team being tired. Maybe if they were fresher, you'd be hearing more talk, more communication. And that comes sweetly off the bat, and that's going to be another maximum.
There's another maximum by Shrikant Devlapalli. It was not a violent stroke, it was just pure placement.
And DCC well over the 220 mark now.
2 more balls.
This could get ugly. Just flick through leg side for a single. Some very excited communication by the DCC captain, communicating with the batters through interpretive dance and song.
Oh, as a leg by indicated by the bowlers and umpire.
Guess that must have been off the pads. And here we go.
Last ball.
Last ball of the innings. Launches it up.
But I think Purvesh will make ground. Oh,
Purvesh with another fantastic catch. Really have to say that he's been outstanding in the field today for UNB St. John. Made some fantastic catches. Great fielding. And for sure he can hold his head high for his performance in the field today.
and now he will get a chance. He would be the opening batsman for UNB St. John to come and make a very impactful opening innings. He has the opportunity. I think UNBSJ should not. The match is still open. It's open for both the teams. UNBSJ should just stick together, come up with a solid plan, not losing wickets, but making sure they get the runs too.
Want to break?
I'm gonna go get.
back with the chase from UNB St. John. Opening bowler, Kunal. Some great bowling to start off. But before we get too excited, we knew how the previous innings started as well. So again, we talked about length, and so far the lengths have been good. Making sure you're not giving the batters any chance to get under that ball. Again, ball keeping low. Carries all the way to deep third. So, their fielders that they have out is a deep third and long on. So you've got to be thinking that this is going fuller and straighter. And just looking at body language here, you can tell DCC are feeling really positive. They've got their tails up.
And why not? You have 220 odd runs. I would fancy my chances as well. But this is where they need to also make sure to bowl basic line and length, nothing fancy, because UNBSJ has got some good hard hitters and they can hit the ball a long distance. And they have shown throughout the league. They have some batters have in fact resurrected their innings and in fact won a match from a hopeless position. So this match is still open. It's not done. That's why, as I said, when the innings break, UNBSJ should not drop their shoulders down. They just have to regroup. And DCC, for starters, they need to bowl the basic line and length. Nothing fancy. Don't give them width.
Exactly. And you can see maybe here they're doing exactly what you said. Like DCC is just keeping their line, keeping their length, putting it in a good area, making UNB St. John make the decision as to what make the play, force them to do something. And we've seen a couple of big swings and misses, and you have to think that at this point some frustration's got to start creeping in, always after a couple of big swings. So here comes that element of mental toughness. Can they regroup for every ball? Let the balls that have been passed be passed and focus on the new ones. And it can always be tough because as a batter, in this situation you have that high required run rate, so it does stress you out because you can't just put it aside because it has to factor into how you bat. But you also have the unenviable task of making sure you keep your cool. Don't get frustrated after too many swings and misses. So uphill battle for UNB St. John, but you have to think that the batters will see this as a big challenge and take that challenge head on.
And I think UNB St. John has to bat smart because with the natural daylight coming to would come a factor later in the innings. They have to ensure not to lose a lot of wickets, because if Duckworth Lewis comes into effect, they have to ensure that they're not lost sufficient amount of wickets, but at the same time they've got the runs. So it seems high pressure, but at the same time, if they can just think things straight, play sensibly, and the match is still open.
We could have a whole separate heated discussion on DLS.
Yes.
For better or for worse.
Oh yes, I think since the 1990 World Cup when South Africa didn't get an opportunity to go further when they're right in the driver's seat. Oh yes.
As a South African, we'd rather not talk about it.
Let's scratch that conversation and let's go back to the qualifier 2. What do you say about that?
Big swing there, connects but doesn't get all of it. Carries over the fielder but not quite to the boundary. But it's clear to see the intent.
good
Fantastic
placement,
shot.
excellent placement.
That was just really absolutely a classic stroke. From our viewpoint here, you just saw him just waiting the ball, watching it onto the bat, and then just pushing through. Strong stance.
And that's Purvesh Patel that hit that shot from
Not
Kent region.
secure hands, secure bat.
There we go. It would be a wide.
And it's one thing I have picked up on. It's very interesting to see how different bowlers adapt to these fields. You know, you have your knee dominant bowlers and your hip dominant bowlers, and you have to feel that with the slightly slipperier surface, you have a slight advantage to the more muscle driven bowlers here. Goes for the bouncer.
And that's called
It's signaled
by the
wide.
umpire. And the first warning indicated by the strikers and umpire Ruchit.
It's one for the over.
And this is where this almost nullifies one of the our weapon of the fast bowler. That if they bowl another one, it could be called a no ball.
That's well under.
Yes.
A very gutsy move
Yes.
to go with the bouncer right after you got called for the
One for the over. And
one for the warning, but great execution. Absolutely have to hand it.
to Shubhankar.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some pretty spot on execution. What a delivery. And you have to maybe think that was part of his setup, going back to the bouncer because he was planning his sequence. And I know some bowlers like to just follow through their sequence, follow through on their plans. Others maybe like to switch it up. But in this case, sticking with his plan, and it comes off.
Yeah. Came out very beautifully.
So, UNB St. John under pressure here. Right now, their required run rate is sitting at 12, so 2 runs a ball.
Yeah, and then right now, Hitarth Bhavsar makes his way to the crease. He has been one of the most impactful players for UNBSJ as a vice captain, as well as vice captain for Cricket New Brunswick senior men's team. We scored some beautiful runs. They reminisce him his shot making to a great Indian batsman, Mr. Yuvraj Singh, and he can strike the ball far.
Who
But
can ever forget
sixes. Oh.
the famous Stuart Broad over?
Oh,
I don't think there are many people that will not be aware of that. It's a spectacular display of striking. So, can you replicate that form here?
That's
And even then, recently we've seen some more modern players. I think the thing that made that over so exciting and so groundbreaking was at the time that was not that common. It was, recently we've seen some overs in the CPL and a few other places where we've had like 5 6s or so, but that's absolutely at the time groundbreaking.
absolutely.
He'll just easy single through the offside to get started, get himself off the mark.
And this is what good players are. They're busy. If they're not getting that shot to the ball to hit for a boundary, they are taking that single. Rotate that strike. Don't let the bowler to settle a line and length, because the more you stay at the crease, yes, you could get the ball where you hit a 6 or 4, but you're also helping the bowler get his line and length as well. So very good batting by Hitarth. Anyways, the match is still open. How are you doing, Jay?
And as they get settled for the next over, they'll be keeping that in mind. Keep ticking, keep moving, keep finding work. And from a coaching perspective too, that's one thing you always want to instill into people is don't ever become a spectator in a game. Even if you're the non-striker, you can always be in on it. If fielders, you can always be in on it. Find work, find something to contribute.
Absolutely. At this point, Diab was 12 for the loss of no wickets. So almost similar, but UNBSJ has lost 1 wicket. That's a dot ball.
And you'll see there some great awareness by the DCC fielders to not throw. You have no backup, you've got no protection, you don't want to concede those silly runs. And that's exactly what DCC has to do here. You'd think that the captain's message would have been like, just do the basics right. Like all the pressures are in UNB St. John here. They just have to do things like that. Make sure you get the ball into your hands.
Absolutely.
Adams.
Oh, you got that right, Ray. Sometimes it's being alert to what the situation is, reacting to it, and that's what T20 is all about. You can have strategies, that's good. You can have plan A, plan B, but you need to adapt to the situation. That's more important, and that's why I think DCC did better. And now we will try to see if UNBSJ could do that.
And then we have
picked
some
up
4 byes, 2.
Was that a wide? Oh, the umpire signals as byes.
So that missed everyone there. Almost went for 4. And that's one of the things that you had mentioned earlier, that a lot of the players here did go to nationals. And, you know, one of the things we had talked about before, and you had mentioned line and length and keeping it basic and knowing what to do in the situation. But with that also comes the necessity to have the skill to be able to make adaptations. It's all very good and well that you can bowl at home at your home field and you know how it works and you know the lines and lengths to bowl, but the real hallmark of a great cricketer is being able to replicate those performances everywhere on different pitches where your lengths have to be different, where your lines have to be different, where maybe the outfield is faster. That is really the hallmark of the great cricketer, is having that adaptability, being able to learn and do what's right in the situation. And I think we are seeing that, especially as you are well aware, and for those who aren't, that there's a great variety of pitches here in New Brunswick.
And
that was a great change up, the slower ball coming, and
taken.
Exactly, fantastic bowling there, very smart bowling. Just mistimed, saw that the couple of fastballs had come in and the batter was playing with intent. Just pulled the pace back a fraction and the batter did not pick it.
And this is where
so great catch by Tarun Patel at long on.
This is where Kunal Shah becomes a very dangerous bowler, because he just sticks to the line and length. He knows that the batting team needs to create the pace, the batting team needs to get those runs, and that's exactly what he did. And that's what Rishabh Rajput tried to hit the ball out, but it went to the toe end of his bat, though it was a slower ball, and a well-judged catch by Tarun Patel at the boundary.
You could just tell that the impact point where it connected was a lot more in front than the batter would have wanted. And as a bowler, you got to feel good about yourself. That's like the typical example of the intelligence of bowlers.
Yes.
Being able to outsmart the batter, think about what's going on, read the situation, and make sure what you're doing is fitting for the situation.
Absolutely.
Great field placement by the captain, you have to say. Came off perfectly.
Very interesting. Now, yes, he has for the new batsman Tapir, the captain of UNBSJ. He has a third man, and he has a deep long on for him. Interesting field placement.
You'd have to think that this is a straight ball, trying to put some pressure on, put it into play on a fuller delivery, forcing the batter to hit straight, and then having the protection at third for any loose balls or spills. You've got a slip and a backward point in as well. So definitely, I'd say an attacking mindset here from the bowling team. You know, having a slip in So, score is 15 runs for 2 after 3 overs. Run rate of 5. So that's quite a bit under the required run rate of 12.6, more or less. You have to think that the pressure will be mounting here, and so, like I think, in my opinion, the key here for UNB St. John is to not lose those wickets. You can accelerate more at the end, but you do not want to be staring down 13, 14 overs with only 6 batters. So they're going to have to really try and work smartly here. Oh, great shot. Right into the gap. Fantastically placed. Pick the short ball, and that has gone for 4. Slightly square of mid-wicket.
Oh, no.
Signaled 4.
Figure 4, okay.
Coming in for the next ball.
Oh, good placement. But no runs. And that could be a misfire.
Overthrow, yeah.
Overthrows.
You'd have to think that St. John there, you thought that maybe they had a run on, decided against it, but got it in the end. The batters just look a little tentative. Like they're not sure how hard they should be pushing. Sort of I always say the risk factor. What's your percentage of risk? How much risk do you want to tolerate? And right now they just seem a little unsure because and again, that's that run rate pressure that's in the back of their minds.
And also losing the 2 wickets is definitely playing on their mind. And I would think this is called, okay, first warning for the over.
There we go.
Will he bowl another bouncer like he did in the previous over and then he got
Gutsy move. Let's find out. Some great bowling. As I understand, he's a UNB student.
Oh, yes.
Will we get the signal there? Good ball.
Good ball. Okay.
You can tell his bowling style, the long run up, the big hip dominance, the big drive. He's got a pretty good braced front leg too. Overall, a very pleasing bowling action and delivering some quality results for him here.
But that's still a dot.
And I think the key thing here is that his length has been impeccable. Like almost none of them, the batters have been able to get under it. So I think that was also key in manufacturing that wicket, frustrating the batters, and then knowing they're trying to get under it, just give that little bit of a slowdown and getting the ball up in the air. But absolutely spot on with the length bowling here. Cracking delivery. Think it might have just been an inside edge there to
that may have saved the batsman.
Keep the umpires uninterested as they would want.
20 for 2, 5 overs. I think Kunal is going to continue.
And as you mentioned, for the bowlers here, you'd feel like in their shoes right now, there's not a lot of pressure. It's just get the basics right and you're pretty much guaranteed to come in under the required run rate.
Yeah, and that's what something DCC has done well in the initial first 4 overs. They didn't do anything special, just as a basic line and length. Made UNBSJ try to manufacture shots, and bargain they lost 2 wickets. And right now they're stringing up these dot balls. Even someone like Hitat, who's a free stroke, free flowing batsman, he's not able to get the ball out of the ball out. But let's
You
see.
have to give credit to DCC because they know that that mindset has changed. You know, even if you're a big hitter, you know, usually as a batter, you're looking to pick your deliveries, but that run rate means that every delivery has to be your delivery. So they're the pressure definitely telling at this point in the game.
Yeah, at this point, DCC were 35 for loss of no wickets. Wow. And there you go. That's what Hitat is known
Cracking
for.
shot, absolutely cracking shot. You know, that's reminiscent. It's almost like a tennis forehand. You know, it's not the classical cross-bat shot, pulling out shades of Roger Federer.
A great legend of sport.
Yeah, we've had quite a few retirements recently. Roger Federer, which of course was big news.
Big news for-
Julan Goswami last night.
That's correct.
What a great servant she's been to India, and fantastic fast bowler.
Oh, and that's
What a shot!
that's
That
a-
is a fantastic shot. Maximum through, yeah, over the head. No sweeper there, but doesn't matter anyway.
maximum.
No one's catching that.
And this is what commendable Hitat. He was initially known for playing certain leg side shots, but this particular season he has developed his offside stroke making, which makes him a dangerous player. So you can't get away from him. He's going to keep pounding back at you.
And that's really is what does make a batter effective, is having options, right? Like if you have options, you can control the innings. You know, if you aren't able to play both sides of the wicket, it makes the bowler's job easier because they can put you under pressure. You limit your own scoring options. Just that is what it's all about, is making your weakness not your weakness.
Yes, absolutely. Good point over there, Ray. Another shot. There's an opportunity. The ball in the air. To the miss-
Just misses out. And that was close. There will have been a few nervous moments between the batters and on the St. John bench there, but ultimately just fingertip stuff.
Yes.
Again, as a fielder, those can be frustrating. When you feel so close to the action, you feel like you're about to get in on it.
And that's why it's so important to maintain your composure until the job's done. And again, there'll be another opportunity. There's still 191 deliveries in this innings to make an impact. Nice placement.
Fantastic bowling. They'll run through for a single. Great running. Under normal circumstances, great batting, but the pressure here is obviously much higher. So can they go a step further?
And this would be the last over of the power play. Let's see what does DCC bring in. Oh, it's going to be Shubhankar who will come to bowl.
For his third over. So right now Hitar's playing the striking role. Tapveer just supporting. And you'd have to think that, you know, they can't take too many more overs before they'll have to go at both ends.
They have absolutely, because there's just a limited number of balls, but the runs need to be earned as well.
And right now, DCC is making them work hard for the runs that they are getting. It'll be called a wide, so far on the offside. Going the Neil Wagner route.
Oh, a great, amazing fast bowler for New Zealand. Sometimes it just amazes me how he can bowl over and over, bounces at the batsman and still at high speed. That's a testament of his physical endurance. Great bowler, an effective one.
You know, well, another wide, pressure telling a bit. There's a famous saying that if it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid. So if you can make it work. And that's what we mentioned earlier. That's what great people do. They find ways to make their strengths work for them and contribute to the team. Find out how your skill set can be matched to the situation. Run out opportunity. Oh, looks like the fielder has a slight shoulder niggle there and didn't quite make it through in time. But ultimately still very comfortable for DCC in this position.
Yes, and this is where UNBSJ realizes that they need to take a little risk.
Running in.
One day he'll leave his slippers, one day he'll leave his gloves.
Oh, that's CNB ball.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so just slowly eating away at the total here. Probably much slower than they'd want to. But like I said, I think in their current position, keeping some wickets in hand is their best bet at this point in time. Just hoping that DCC fall into a bit of a lull. That will be another good strike. Will they make it back for two? No, just an easy single. And at this point, DCC will be very happy with just giving them singles.
Absolutely.
Just let them take it. With the run rate so far, a single is almost a dot ball at this score.
I would agree, and that's why they're just giving the basic line and length. And yeah, if UNBSJ wants to take shots, which Hitar just tried, they're trying to make them make the efforts. Take it, Jay. Take it, Ravi.
So two more balls left in the over. Second last ball.
That's a wide.
And there we go. Those keepers with their with their attempts to obfuscate, but the umpire is wise to it.
And this is why you need good qualified and trained umpires who can pick up on these plays and make some good decisions. A commendable decision by Anshul. In the grand scheme of things, doesn't look like a big impactful thing, but you need to understand it takes a lot to get the decision right. And there's another one.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Even from a player's perspective, you want to think about how much of difference umpiring makes. You know, a good, clear umpire always makes the game much easier to run, and just too, it avoids ambiguities. Ambiguities are what causes animosity, what causes stress, what causes breakdown. So umpires being able to stay in control of the game and be clear, consistent, concise makes a huge difference. And on that note, misses the length. It wasn't short, it wasn't full, it wasn't good, and it gets pulled away by Hitarth for a 4.
This is going to be the last ball of the power play that's going to come up, and it's to see what.
So in this position, is your mindset go for a big shot or just stay in?
I would say play at the merit of the ball, because you would want to always get the maximum amount of runs, no doubt. But if you just hit a boundary and then you get out the next ball, you're not serving your team very well. So play it first for the merit of the ball. If it's there to be hit. The longer you stay at the crease, someone like Hitarth understands he will make those runs.
And I mean, we've seen some great examples of that recently in T20Is. Babar Azam, Joss Butler, with maybe slow starts where their first 30 balls are, only like 40, 30, 40 runs. And the next few balls, 30 balls are, 60, 70. So as long as you're in there, you've got a chance, and you've got to back yourself to be able to make that. But firstly, you've got to not be out. Yes. And I think just on a more philosophical note, I think that's one of the things about batting in cricket that is both tougher and more challenging, is that you have one chance, and that's it. So you have to make it count. So UNB St. John will be hoping that the batters that are currently in can do that, can play it smart.
I can now, yeah. I want to use
వాటర్ కావాలా బ్రో మంచినీళ్ళు సిగరెట్ వెళ్ళి తెస్తాను మాకు బాగా క్లోజ్ అండి
Wide signal by the umpire.
So it's Musab, right?
No, it's a Barsha.
You sure?
Oh, sorry, Musab was bowling. My bad. Musab.
We're getting some help from the previously mentioned Centurion.
Wide first ball. Now it's a dot.
Great dot ball. That just cramping the batter for room there. That awkward length, that right into the body, right into the gloves. If you're not ready for the pull, that can feel pretty unsettling. Ooh, wide, some excellent keeping there to get to that one.
That's good keeping by Gautam, who played a wonderful innings at for DCC, 65 odd, and still his fitness makes sure he doesn't give more than one run.
Fitness being so crucial, especially in the multi-game days.
And the bowler is trying to get his line and length, so that's why he's...
UNB St. John won't be minding this. They'll say, we'll take every wide you're willing to give us.
Yes, every run, every extra is welcome. Another wide.
Slight appeal there, but keeper throws the ball in disgust.
4 wides for the over.
And this is where that complacency can maybe start creeping in. Oh, we're up by a lot. It's not that big of a deal. Just relax, and all of a sudden you find yourself a few runs down, conceding a few in the over, more than you'd like. So in this case, are you trying to, as a captain, when you're thinking strategically, you're up by a lot, when you're thinking about your bowling changes, are you thinking, hey, let's get the part-timers or the lower bowlers, let's try and get their overs through so that we can make sure that we have those good bowlers in the bank? Or do you say, let's just put the good bowlers up there, put even more pressure on them? What's your strategy? What's your thinking?
You're going to have a balanced approach over here. You definitely would like to get your 5th or 6th bowlers overs out as much as possible. But at the same time, you don't want to give opportunity for the batting team to start kicking into the 5th gear and just taking off. So it's a balance, because now you have to understand both these batsmen have been there for quite some time. They can see the ball very well, and they could start taking off in any moment. And you don't want that as DCC. You want runs to be just to singles or zeros. So yeah, that's what I would do.
Interesting perspective. Always good to know what different people think and how the different mindsets work around that.
Andre, you being the CNB women's team captain, what would be your intent after this dismissal possible?
Great catch, yeah. Good bowling, great awareness, and the pressure's on. No, I think I agree with you. I'd probably follow a similar strategy, and like you said, if you intersperse a couple of part-timers or 5th bowlers, and if they can do what just happened, what Musab just did, just pick up a wicket or two, that puts you in the driver's seat. But yeah, I think same thing. Just keep an eye on that run rate. Maybe give yourself a target and say if it starts creeping over this, we're back to the good bowlers. If it's over that, gotta let our part-timers do their magic.
And sometimes even part-timers could take your wicket.
I mean, I just think of people like Liam Livingstone and Aidan Markram, players like that, where even though they're not your frontline bowlers, they are capable of 3 for 12 performances and 3 fers and getting good runs. So it's the gambles sometimes work out, and we had a similar setup. We had a couple of bowlers that weren't maybe the front line, but every once in a while they'd just do a fantastic job. And of course, as a captain, that makes your job so much easier when you know that they're putting in and contributing to the team in those ways as well.
And this is the captain speaking from her own experience, and it's very commendable how you led the team over the summer, and you like to get your input as well. Sometimes you just get to see from a pure cricket aesthetic, and maybe that's going.
And
Does that have legs?
Oh,
Or it does
yes,
have
and
legs?
that makes us the maximum there. Fantastic shot. Maybe a little more nerve-wracking than he would have liked, but ultimately it clears the boundary, and that's all that matters.
13 runs of this over, so UNBSJ would like that amount of runs came, but they would not be happy with the wicket that's on.
Just fallen, yeah. And yeah, no, I on the previous note, I absolutely have to commend a lot of the players too. They definitely made my job a lot easier, especially when you consider how few resources we have here, and how much more driven you have to be to get those same results. A lot of the players really just put their hands up and worked really hard and made it possible, so that when it came time to make those calls, you had the bowlers who could get the job done. You had the batters that could step up, So credit to the team who did really well despite all the adversities.
Absolutely, it's the players over here, like you said, with the lack of resources. Sometimes the players, they spend their own money, they forego a work opportunity because they can play out their passion. And these players are the reason why cricket is growing in not just in New Brunswick but in the Maritimes as well. The sport is just becoming stronger year by year.
Oh yes, we definitely remember a few times where we had to. Unfortunate there. Catch on the boundary.
Yeah, great catch by Afzal, by the captain.
Yeah, that one looked like it might have been over, but he must have just reeled it in. Ball not quite the trajectory that the batter would have wanted, but nonetheless, great effort, and the Srijit will be very happy. 1 for 0.1 was it's a great start.
Now Yash Patel comes to the crease. He has been known to play amazing innings for UNBSJ this particular summer, but with the strike required run rate almost close to 13.5, it's to be seen what he does. So he's got a good pedigree, playing capability that he could put out there.
Yeah, you've got to feel that the DCC will be getting more comfortable with every over that passes as the light dims as well. It chills down, cools down a bit. Srijit with from a bowling perspective, a much shorter run up.
Yes.
A bit more muscle driven. Great delivery, hitting excellent lengths.
He's bowled 3 balls, taken a wicket, and no runs of this off is over.
Yeah, excellent figure so far. And you have to think too, with a maybe slightly deceptive bowling style. The shorter run up, especially on fast bowlers, can be a bit more deceptive. You've got less clues, and especially if you consider someone, say, like Jasprit Bumrah, like shorter run up, really forward action, so you don't have as much time to read the line.
Mm-hmm.
Slower ball, will this carry?
There's another opportunity.
Oh, through the hands and
that's
4.
4 runs.
Unfortunate.
Was it because of the sun in the eyes?
That could have been a very big factor indeed.
The one before was wide.
Wide. And then now 4 runs.
ball just holding up. You could see that he pulled out the slower ball there, and yeah, perhaps the fielder just with the eyes, as I'm sure some of the viewers can see, the sun's just at that really horizontal angle, so making fielding a bit tougher.
ఫాస్ట్గా వెళ్ళేది అరిచిపోవడానికి బేసిక్గా మనం
So, shot, powerful shot, but ultimately only goes for a single.
వికెట్ల మీద వేసేసి లేదా బౌన్సర్లు వేసేసి
So this is the last ball of the 8th over, and wow.
You'd have to think that score-wise they're not that far behind at 62 for 8, which is very commendable, but it's really those wickets down that's got to bug them.
and
Wow,
that's gone,
what a
that's
pickup.
gone.
Excellent pickup. Hopefully that doesn't hit my car. Backward of square, kind of, what's that, forward of fine leg. Great pickup, all the way for a maximum.
Very good over for UNBSJ. They got 12 runs, but they did lose a wicket. But yeah, the match is still almost open.
Yeah, you'd have to think that from a DCC perspective here, you know, and tell me your opinion on this, but, you know, from a captaining perspective, you can say we've got runs to play with, but UNB St. John doesn't have wickets. So, you know, pick up 2 wickets, and you're firmly in the driver's seat. You know, it'd be very hard for tail-enders to score 100-plus runs. So, you know, perhaps the mindset of the captain here will just start shifting towards what they can do to get those wickets, maybe trying a few different bowlers, and maybe that's one of the strengths, like we've mentioned, where those part-timers come in, because, you know, they might offer a different bowling style, you know, maybe something that's completely different, force the batters to adapt to something new every over.
And speaking on cue, Tarun Patel has been brought into the attack, and he has playing really well. He's been a find of the season for DCC, and he in fact has put some commendable performances for Cricket New Brunswick. So yes, and he's very good at getting the ball in, and he's not going to get easy runs to the batsman.
With the left arm spin, he reminds me a bit of Akshar Patel. Just fire it in, really great economy, who also had a fantastic game recently. It's that sort of that thing that really troubles, especially from a left armer, that can really trouble a lot of right-handers, you know, like unlike traditional spin where you've got a bit more loft, just getting fired in forces the batter to maybe not play those big shots, and restricts the boundary options a lot. So in my very humble opinion, I think a great bowling change, just push that run rate down even more, frustrate the batters, get more dots, get more singles. That one's up in the air. Will he take it? Easy catch in the end. And there we go. Exactly what we were saying. Frustrate the batters, force them to make those shots, and Vishal out there, caught and bowled with a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, and as now it's 70 for 5 after 8.4 overs. UNBSJ is definitely trying to make a match out of it. We can see all the efforts, but I think at this time, slowly at every fall of wicket, is slowly going firmly in the grasp of DCC at this time.
Exactly, as we had mentioned, it's those wickets in hand are just looking slim, and of course that does put more pressure on the batters that are in. They have to rethink their shots. Anytime you're in a position where the batters have to start thinking about their wickets, they have to start thinking about their scoring areas. You know, anytime you're limiting yourself like that, that means that there's an opportunity for the bowlers to find some gaps in your game.
Okay, sorry, I'm very sorry.
Full toss. Oh,
Almost
it
an
goes to
opportunity.
hand, but put down. That was
chance, but you should have made it. You should have caught it. Yes.
that one came at pace. Bit of a reflex catch.
That's a lot of air, but that's
And
does
that
have
will
legs?
clear the boundary. Yes, maximum. Well, it was maybe going for a little bit of a change up there. That ball was slower than the previous balls, not fired in, but not quite hitting the right length. And as we've mentioned multiple times today on this pitch, if you don't hit your length, it's ripe for picking.
Yes, yes.
So, as we had mentioned, not a bad run rate at all for for a T20 game, but they are chasing that very aggressive. So the run rates, required run rates, creeped up to 13.9. Even though the current run rate is 8.4, which on its own would be a fantastic run rate. New bowler coming in, so we've got Srijit back in from the other end. And again, there, just another great length. It's not a front foot, not back foot, and you know the batter just kind of wafts at it, gets a bit of a toe. It's a single, but it avoids those important boundaries that St. John will be chasing right now. So, gonna have to say that DCC is firmly in the driver's seat here.
That's a good shot. But
Cracking strike.
Oh, that's 6 runs.
And for a moment there, they'll have had some anxious moments as the ball was flying towards long off, but comfortably clears long off in the end. Very flat hit, very powerfully struck.
And I think someone like Yash Patel, who seems to have good endurance, I think his physical fitness is making a play over here.
He looks way calmer. He looks very composed, you know. And as we had mentioned, if you are very fit, you can't afford yourself that because you're not worried about the burn in the legs or the lungs. Ends up being a good Yorker ball. They're not. Are they going to push for 2? No, they're not going to push. Just stay with the single. Some good fielding there to keep the pressure up. And strategically, we'll have to decide who to make friends with to make sure we're in the celebratory group so we can get some free. Oh, fantastic play.
batting by Jitendra.
Pulling out some unorthodox shots, some shades of ABD.
Oh yes, Mr. 360.
Scoops it over towards fine leg side. And that one will just be 4, almost 6.
Yeah,
Some a nice treat for the spectators there.
I think so too. And this is where this could hurt DCC if they even though they're in the driver's seat at this moment, they shouldn't give these boundaries where it'll suddenly give confidence in the UNBSJ camp. But again, cricket is a great equalizer. The sport is such an amazing equalizer. It gives everyone an opportunity. Is there another chance? Oh, wait, a misfield by the.
And one of the slowest runs I have seen in cricket to date. But ultimately, the batter made it through. It looks like he might have been struck somewhere on the body. Seems to be doing all right.
Umpire does not call it extra, so this run
Must
will
have
go
been
the-
off a bat
Yeah.
somewhere.
Somewhere.
Glove, maybe.
On the last ball of the 10th over. The only difference between there's a little bit of run difference, but UNBSJ has lost extra 3 wickets at this point in time. Oh, and there's a chance.
I think we'll go wide.
Oh, good fielding by the fielder at the boundary.
Excellent pickup there. Ultimately keeps it down, saves 3 runs. Some discussion to verify. Umpire settles in a single, and that's the over. So at the halfway of the innings, they're 90 for 5, and this is again where, you know, when we were talking during the previous innings, and they were around the 12th or 13th over, and you really thought if UNB St. John could take a big bite out of that middle order, they could have held them down. But you think that UNB St. John were probably like a wicket or two short of being able to just keep the score down? Because you'd say that like a 180, 190 here, they'd be feeling competitive, they'd be feeling a shot. But surely that extra 30, almost 40 runs would be weighing on them right now. You know, 100 in 100 is not unheard of, but we're looking at 139, so very big steep hill for them to climb here.
It is indeed, and that's an opportunity
But it ultimately misses the fielders.
to be seen if the umpires call for above the waist, but I don't see a call, so it's okay. It's a legal delivery.
No ball.
No ball.
No ball.
I think you make a very interesting point. I did make an observation that DCC had a soft middle order, and this is where the top order batsmen ensured that they batted long as they did, which is like example Gautam, he opening batsman, he was almost the 11th or 12th over. That's called responsibility what he took. Oh, this has to be a no ball and a 6.
And that has been dispatched with disdain over mid-wicket. And they will get to rub further salt into the wounds. They'll also get the free hit.
Yes.
So, is there still a comeback on the cards here?
Absolutely, and Yash Patel has played similar innings in the past for the league.
Well, you're going to have to think that one of the batters currently in is going to have to put up a 60, 70, 80 score if they are to make a fight of this.
Yes, an opportunity.
And it's coming our way. How do you feel about catches? Oh, put down. I think that one is not the sun. I feel like that is just a little lapse of concentration, and now you start maybe thinking, well, is DCC's getting a little sloppy? Are they too complacent? They think maybe, hey, we're in the lead.
No, that's a wide. Interesting observation, Ray. I want to say the same, because this is where it takes 1 or 2 overs for the pendulum of the match to swing. Here's another opportunity. Oh, okay. Yes.
Clears the bowler. So, with every innings, if you put up a great innings, you need a little bit of luck, and you feel like St. John is definitely pushing a bit, riding their luck, but seems to be going in their favor, and they'll take everything they can get at this point.
Absolutely. And one thing good, the light is still holding up, so play is continued. Play is able to go further, and why not? Oh, that's a good shot.
And that is cracked, but there is protection on the leg side there. And you have to be maybe thinking about this here. You've got a left-hand spinner. They're bowling around to a right-hander. You might just be saying, well, hey, let's put the stumps in play here and don't give him the angle, especially to
I think that's traveling, that's gone.
that one. I'm sure he'll be in trouble with the FAA, because I'm not sure he got clearance from Air Canada for that one. I was up there for a period of time. You know, the fielder watching it sail over their heads had some time to contemplate all their life decisions. But ultimately, what a shot! Wow, must have cleared it by a spectacular amount.
Amazing. Yash Patel hit an amazing shot. 19 runs of this over, and this is where it's very important that DCC maintains pressure on UNBSJ batsmen, because someone like Yash Patel, once he gets his range going, he can make quick runs. He's known to get.
Oh, absolutely. And you think that it's a bit nervous moments, but in my opinion, still, it was that extra past 200, you know, that extra 20 runs. How many was it? 23, 27. That really just put the game out of reach, because even you'd think that a 200 score might be chaseable for them here, but ultimately, in my opinion at the moment, I think it will just be that last 10% that will be the hurdle that they won't be able to make. But definitely not going quietly here. UNB St. John is fighting for all it's worth. Oh, you gotta wonder there, would a throw to hand maybe have gone better with all that time? Either way, still not to hit panic stations yet. But again, it's that.
Oh, is that going? Oh, that's
Yash
gone.
Patel,
That's flying.
that one is all the way into the dog park almost.
Yes.
Yash Patel does not have time. He's got somewhere to be.
Yash Patel did not get into his account.
You get his account?
Jisdan Singh is on strike.
We'll do that correction later. I don't want because he's going to correct scoring.
He got that 6.
So
This is another 6.
this is
This is also
Jitin. No. Oh shoot.
Yash Patel, right? You can undo and change the strike manually.
This one.
Updating.
Just making sure that the scorers are on the same page.
That's good enough.
But 1-6 is still missing.
Yeah, you can change that manually after this. No problem. Just notice that.
Thank you, Hemant. Yeah, it was brought to an observation that the 6 runs the runs were not getting credit to the right batsman. Oh, and did that just go far somewhere?
That is another 6.
Oh boy.
Not a no ball.
That are they discussing? It should be no ball, at least from our perspective here. They'll be making the call.
Okay.
No,
just 6
no
runs.
call, no ball call. Surprising.
Surprisingly, the umpires are looking at. Oh no, wait.
The bowler maybe getting away with
A mistake. Oh,
a
yeah.
no ball there. Lucky call.
So of this over, already 19 runs have come and 1 ball to go. For the first time in a long time, the required run rate has come below 13 runs an over. Oh, that was an inside edge. Missed everything.
And will it go for 4?
I think
No,
they
it
should
will
take
not.
2 runs at this time. And they have they made 2 runs.
Comfortably complete 2 runs.
Smart biting by Yash Patel.
Get some buys there, signaled by the umpire.
Oh.
And I'll just finish with a single there.
ఇద్దరు షార్ట్ బాల్ లోనే కొట్టారు అరౌండ్ 100 ఫాస్ట్ అనే టైం అవ్వాలి
100 needed in 50, I think. 48.
98 needed in 48.
And all of a sudden the game looks a little more alive. As we mentioned in the earlier game, it's not over till it's over.
And now Afzal captain has gone back to one of his premier bowlers, Parth Shah, who was well known to bowl very well in the last end overs. So he's a left arm over the wicket.
And this is maybe where that left arm over really comes in. You know, experimenting with coming around, but
That's a dot ball.
fantastic delivery. And here you can tell another knee dominant fast bowler with the classical, the shorter run up, or in some cases when they have the longer run up, the little stutter steps before coming into the crease.
And that's such
That's
opportunity.
up in the air, and that one is up there for a mile, but ultimately will land safe.
So
And
Yash
there's
Patel-
no one at the stumps.
So Yash Patel continues to bat.
And sometimes the greatest innings require a little bit of luck. Certainly getting his share of luck here, but 2 runs away from his 50 and still under 20 balls. It's got to be a great return for the captain.
And they choose to go against the.
Well, if you're striking like that, you probably want to be striking most of the balls and give your partner some breathing room. Who Jitendra is also on 24/7, who's not slacking himself.
లెగ్ స్పిన్నర్ ఆయన లేడు ఆయన ప్లేస్ శాంతం
Shot. Oh, that's 4 runs.
And that one goes for a boundary. Adds to his tally, and he brings up his 50 in only 21 balls. You know, you have to be happy whenever your strike rate is over 200. No complaints.
And this is where, with his, if he continues to bat like this for the next 2 overs, he'll be lessening the gap. Oh, that's going
An
behind,
edge,
will
and
that
will
go
that,
for 4?
yes, it runs away past third.
That's 4 runs.
Yes. And this game is very much alive. Yash Patel is not giving up.
So 10 runs of this over with 1 ball to go.
And the run rate at one point was almost 3 runs per ball, and it's now almost back to 2. So
Good ball by Parsha.
some aware keeping there.
10 runs of this over.
So we'll have to make sure that we find the winning camp to go mooch on
Yes,
some
good food.
some goodies and see what we can scrounge off them. Of course, being a commentator, I'm completely impartial, so I'll be able to make it in regardless of which side comes out on top.
Umpires had another quick discussion, and it seems like they will continue play. The light seems sufficient. So at this time, Tarun Patel will come back to bowl his 3rd over. And Jitendra Singh will be on strike for the first time in almost 2.5 overs.
You know, we've talked about this a few times, but someone has to make a glow-in-the-dark ball. That will be the next big innovation.
Oh, yes.
And that will be signaled wide. And here again, as I mentioned earlier, they seem to be persisting with the left-arm spinners coming around the wicket, which, in my opinion, I'm not sure if that's the right call, but I guess they're gonna make it work. They have a plan. Maybe I'm not attuned to it.
For the first time, UNBSJ is ahead of DCC in terms of runs scored, thanks to the innings. And they steal a run. Oh, and they steal.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That was absolute larceny. Like that they had no rights to that run whatsoever. But they were on top of their game and they made it happen. Much to the dismay of the DCC fielders and the protests. I know someone who's going to get a little bit of a talking to after this game.
This is amazing amazing for the sport of cricket. 3 very good games where, wow, and that doesn't have legs. It's going,
That is
and it's
gone.
Wow, Yash Patel, simply wow. He's not even moving from the crease. He just staying still.
Stand and deliver.
Wow.
He's come to throw hands. Nothing the fielders could do but watch it sail over their heads.
Another one, and this is a chance. Oh, never mind. It was not a chance. It's 6 runs.
Another 6.
Another 6. And this was over a deep cover. Interesting shot for a left arm bowler, slow bowler.
And this is again where I come in, like where I've been mentioning that if that was coming over the wicket, it's playing across the line a lot more. But because they've been coming around, that's much more of a straight shot. This one is up in the air.
Oh, and they take it.
And that catch, in the grand scheme of things, how important will that turn out to be? Getting rid of the very dangerous.
60, but I added 6 runs to Jitendra to move it to him.
So finishes with 74 from 25. Absolutely nothing to be faulted about that innings. Now the question is, can someone step up? Do they have someone left? that can come in and continue the striking.
Batsman! Batsman name!
Batsman name.
Batsman name! Batsman name!
Rana. Abhishek Rana. Okay.
Abhishek in. Yeah. Dead ball signaled. So Jitendra on strike since they crossed, which, as we know, will only be the rule for a few more weeks or less than a week before the new rules take effect. And it'd certainly be interesting to get some opinions on that, about the strikers. So,
74 and 36.
with the starting in October, the new rule will be that if the catch is taken, the new batter will always take the striker's end. As a bowler, I think it's great. You should be rewarded. I'm sure batters would have a few opinions on that. Abhishek on strike here. Come back to their strong bowlers. Got some pace.
Mama, you're 30? No, Mama, you're just 28 now.
And a wicket given. And UNB St. John is down another wicket. So 4 wickets left,
And at this point,
4 wickets in hand. Required run rate of just over 12. So you wouldn't say it's out of reach, but certainly things are getting more desperate. So can they find another hero? Someone to play the role of Patel 2.0. Wicket. Incredible bowling here. What an inspired bowling change. And Tarun is on a hat trick.
Kunal, new bowler.
Kunal, okay. Time up. Kunal is on a hat trick. 3 wickets left in hand.
Oh, sorry, 3 wickets to go.
87, 88,
And all of a sudden, the game has turned. Just like that.
Yeah, bro.
He's saying 8 wickets down.
No, 7.
Yeah, see. What's the batsman name?
batsman name.
Batsman name. I'll take it.
Uday.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
That's one.
Yeah, bro.
Swing and a miss, and dot balls. And the last 5 balls have proven to be the crucial balls.
Dot ball. Yeah.
And another dot ball.
Yes.
Runner.
And that's where the wicket of Yash Patel.
And another dot ball. And here we are. The dot balls are piling up. And
out in the sixth at the back-to-back 2 wickets, it's 8 wickets.
And the ball is gone. Will that make the boundary?
They're working on it. అలాగే తినేయాలి కదా ఇద్దరు బ్యాట్స్మెన్లు ఉన్నారు.
I know Jitendra is over there. Oh, the Darshan was bowled, right? Like Darshan was bowled over here before Uday Kundu.
They told me his name was something different.
And I did see Darshan come. Can you
I don't think it was Darshan. I verified the name actually.
okay, maybe put
Can you see the scorecard? Like, where is the scorecard?
I'm right now here in my app over here.
Yeah, right here. So
The umpire is just convening, having a chat. Will we get to complete the overs?
with Jitendra,
No run.
it was Jitendra and Abhishek actually playing. Yeah. So it was
But there's another wicket down.
Abhishek down and then
And it looks like play will continue.
Yes.
The umpires are saying that the lighting conditions are satisfactory for now.
Just to undo.
You got to think that we don't have that much time left. You know, maybe another 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but that should be enough to get through some more overs.
So what happened with the overs? Like it was 0-0-0.
Persisting with the left arm round seems to be a bit more effective without the big striking bat of Yash Patel. And we have a free hit.
Umpire calls a no ball, okay?
So
Zero.
Great response by the bowler.
Okay, no ball, no ball.
it's not there.
My
This
friend,
is
no ball down here.
no ball.
Yes, then a dot.
Yeah.
Zero, I mean.
And a stumping.
Stumped out. He just now stumped out.
Jitendra
Jitendra, yes.
out, stumped.
Yes.
And at this point, you have to believe.
No, this is not updating actually. This is I'm trying to update it, but I'm gonna remove it. I'm
Rohit
gonna
Sharma is
add
a new
it.
batsman in, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Rohit Sharma.
yeah.
Well,
హేమంత్ రాఠోడ్ 10 మంది వచ్చిన DCC
Zero.
This one's active.
Rohit Sharma. Dot. Zero.
0.
so this is the last hope for UNB St. John, who are still a good 60 runs behind. Could we see the best last wicket partnership of the season? UNB St. John will be hoping for it.
Players are coming together. And
Is Abhishek Rana there right now?
Having a discussion again. Are they maybe just thinking about the light? It would be a shame to end the game with the light at this point when we are close. We're still just waiting on some updates here. Some players getting ready. We hope to be able to give you some updates shortly.
Is this the last wicket?
Let's stop the game and go to DLS.
How do we do that?
Okay, so the umpires have checked the light conditions and play has been deemed unsafe to continue. So we will be going to DLS, which you'd think would not make
Revised target.
Yeah, triple shot DLS.
a huge difference
Apply in
at this point.
last for this innings 4.
Okay.
Revised target is 215 runs. I'll just make a note of it.
So, due to the waning light conditions, DLS has been implemented and the innings has been reduced to 16. So, the revised target right now will be 215 runs.
UNBSJ score.
Right now?
Yeah, I want to see. Because now I know what was the target.
Should I just remove it right now?
Remove this for me.
Okay.
So,
157 for-
you're looking at 49 runs in 2 overs, which
they're-
you'd think
43
is the
58
game.
Runs, they lost by 58 runs per DLS. They, DCC won the match by 58 runs per DLS.
And it has been called. DCC has won the match by 58 runs. There we go. Eventually, UNB St. John putting up a valiant effort through the bats of Hittarth and the likes of Hittarth and Yash Patel. But ultimately, the first innings would just turn out to be too strong of an innings, and DCC takes the win. Thank you everyone for watching. Live here from the Loyalist Cricket Club, Cricket and Rugby Club in Fredericton, and we'll see you next time. Do I have a career in commentary?
You do.